If your Canon PRO-1000 printer keeps suffering from unexpected hard shutdowns, you already know how frustrating it is. You walk into your studio and the small white light is off, and when you turn the printer back on again, you get that incorrect shutdown message. But the real problem is what happens next. After the abrupt shutdown, the printer runs a deep cleaning cycle to get itself back into a healthy state. And over time, that can waste a considerable amount of precious ink. I dealt with these random shutdowns for months, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 most likely reasons for unexpected shutdowns and how to fix each one. I'll also show you the exact setting that finally solved it for me. But before we get into the solutions, you might be wondering what is the difference between a soft shutdown and a hard shutdown. A soft shutdown is when you turn the printer off properly using the power button. The printer performs a short routine, parks the printhead safely, and then shuts down. A hard shutdown is when the power is suddenly cut, like unplugging the printer or losing power without warning. And this distinction really matters. After a proper shutdown, the printer only needs a light maintenance check when it turns back on. But after a hard shutdown, it has to run a much more aggressive cleaning cycle to make sure everything is still in good condition. This is when you end up wasting a lot of ink. The best practice is actually to never really turn off the printer. Let it stay in sleep mode. It uses very little power and avoids triggering unnecessary cleaning cycles. By default, the PRO-1000 is set to turn itself off automatically to save energy, but it's better if you disable that entirely. You need to do this in 2 places. First, on the printer itself, go to Various Settings, Device Settings, Energy Saving Settings, and set Auto Power Off to Never. Then check your computer. Open your printer properties or preferences, go to the Maintenance tab, and look for the Auto Power setting there. And set the Auto Power off to Disable. Now let's talk about the actual reasons behind sudden hard shutdowns and how to fix them. Reason number 1, electricity fluctuations. This printer has a very sensitive power supply, and even tiny fluctuations in your studio's electricity, ones you won't even notice, can be enough to cause a hard shutdown. To prevent that, I highly recommend using a proper UPS or uninterruptible power supply. Basically, it's a battery backup that delivers clean, stable power. Without that clean power, the printer may not handle small power blips well and shut itself down to protect its components. Another big advantage of using a UPS is during a full power outage, like during a storm. A UPS with enough capacity keeps the printer running long enough for you to walk over and shut it down properly using the power button. Just to be clear, a UPS is not meant to keep you printing for hours. It just gives you a short safety window to finish your current print and shut things down the right way. Reason number 2, outdated firmware. Check your firmware. I know it sounds basic, but it's worth doing. Firmware updates can fix stability issues like this. And here is how to update it. Go to Various Settings, Device Settings, Firmware Update, and make sure you have installed the latest version. Reason number 3, the network. Now, if you have done everything else, settings are correct, you have a reliable UPS, and the firmware is up to date, but the printer still shuts down randomly, the problem might actually be network related. This is what finally stopped the hard shutdowns for me. I've had my printer for 3 years, and these random shutdowns only started happening in the past few months. I tried multiple solutions. I even upgraded to a better UPS, but nothing worked. It turns out that sometimes leaving Wi-Fi on 24/7 can actually cause the printer's logic board to crash. It's not about a weak signal. Some routers send background data packets that the printer doesn't know how to handle. These packets can confuse the internal network card, which can trigger a system reboot or a hard shutdown. What I did was turn off the Wi-Fi on the printer completely. Here is exactly how to do it. On the printer screen, go to LAN settings, select Change LAN, and then select Disable LAN. My routine now is simple. I only enable the Wi-Fi when I'm about to send a print, and I turn it back off as soon as I am done. If you want a more permanent solution, use a USB cable. If you look at the back right side of the printer, you will find the USB Type B port. Just plug a standard printer cable in there and run it directly to your computer. This cuts out the router and any confusing data entirely. Once you plug in the cable, your computer will likely detect it as a new printer. On Windows, go to Printers and Scanners, you will probably see something like Canon PRO-1000 copy 1. I recommend renaming it to something like PRO-1000 USB to avoid any confusion. In my case, turning off Wi-Fi completely stopped the random shutdowns, so I recommend trying the firmware update and the Wi-Fi trick first and only considering a UPS if the problem persists. Hopefully one of these fixes saves you from the same headache I went through. And if you have found another way to stop these shutdowns or if the Wi-Fi trick works for you, feel free to share it in the comments.